All right, today we're going to dive into something pretty incredible. A single, super productive development session for an app called VoiceTasks. And get this, it started with a really nasty bug, but just a few hours later, it ended with a complete business model. Let's break down how that happened.
I mean, this quote says it all, right? This is that magic moment every developer dreams of, turning a total headache of a problem into a massive leap forward for the whole product. This is the story of that leap.
So where does a story like this even begin? Well, like so many do, with a problem. A user reported a bug that pretty much made the app's main feature feel completely broken.
So try to put yourself in the user's shoes for a second. You speak your task into the phone, you see the words pop up on screen, everything seems to be working perfectly, but then, poof, nothing. The app just hangs on processing forever and never actually saves your task. It's a total failure of the one thing the app is supposed to do, and it had to be fixed like yesterday.
So what was the culprit? A classic software issue, a race condition. This is basically when two different parts of your code are supposed to happen in a specific order, but there's nothing there to enforce it. It's like they're literally racing each other to the finish line, and if the wrong one wins, well, things break.
And here's the heart of that race. The code was working on a totally wrong assumption. It just assumed that the final voice transcript would be ready the instant you stopped talking. But of course, speech recognition takes a second. The system would send the final text back a moment later, but by then, the app's code had already moved on. It was just being way too impatient. Okay, so with that huge critical bug finally squashed, the developer could shift focus to actually improving the experience. And the very next thing on the list? It came from some, let's say, very direct user feedback.
Wow. You just can't get more direct feedback to that, can you? A user just flat out said the app's text-to-speech voice was terrible. And you know, it's such a crucial reminder for anyone making a product. Your users notice everything, especially when it comes to quality.
Now, the fix for this was surprisingly simple. It turns out Apple actually gives you different tiers of voice quality. The app was using the basic, kind of robotic, default voice. Just by changing a few lines of code to tell it to prefer the much, much better premium and enhanced voices, the whole listening experience got an instant, massive upgrade.
But you know how it goes in development, right? You fix one thing and it uncovers something else. The recording feature and the new high-quality playback voice were basically fighting over the phone's audio system. The app was getting stuck in record mode, which meant the new voice couldn't play. The solution was to explicitly tell the app, hey, you're done recording, switch over to playback mode now.
All right, with the annoying audio bugs out of the way, the developer could finally shift gears from fixing stuff to building something awesome. And this was a major new feature, all based on another user request, integrating with their calendar.
Now, this wasn't just about dropping events onto a calendar. Oh no, this was about building a smart scheduler. And the logic here is really clever. First, it grabs all your events from your calendar. Then, it scans through your day and finds all the empty gaps between those events. But here's the genius part. It then ranks those empty slots to suggest the absolute best time to schedule your new task. So smart!
Okay, so at this point, the app is getting way more powerful, right? It's becoming so much more valuable. So what's the next logical step? It's time to build the business model, creating a paywall to turn VoiceTasks into a real, sustainable product, using Apple's latest tools to do it.
And this pricing structure wasn't just some random guess. It was actually based on looking at what competitors were doing. They decided on a classic freemium model. You get a free tier that lets you create 10 tasks a month, just enough to really see the value. And after that, you've got the pro tiers to unlock unlimited use.
And of course, they built in a really smart incentive to get people to commit. If you pay for the whole year up front, you save $10 compared to paying month to month. It's a simple but super effective strategy to encourage those annual subscriptions, which is fantastic for the business's cash flow.
So, after all that, this whirlwind 3-hour session, what can we actually learn from it? Let's boil this whole journey down to the key takeaways that any developer, or founder, or product manager can use.
First up, a huge technical lesson. Async means async. You just can't rush processes that need time. Second, audio systems are tricky. You've always got to make sure you're in the right mode for the job. Third, and this is a big one, listen to your users. Even blunt, terrible feedback is an absolute gift. And finally, 2 big wins. Apple's new monetization tools are really powerful, and deep integrations, like that smart calendar, can completely change the game for your app.
And this brings us to the final, and maybe the most important idea of this whole story. This entire waterfall of new features, a smarter app, and a full business model, it was all kicked off by one single bug report. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if the problems you're wrestling with today aren't really problems at all? What if they're actually signposts, pointing you directly to your next big opportunity?